But yeah, we're now going to go on to passing the mic, where I'm going to virtually. Oh, wow. I say virtually, but like we're both in person. See, look, that's what I told you. Like I've basically got a script when it comes to this. But yeah, I'm going to pass the mic over to Amanda. She's got a question for me to answer. Could you please let us know what the question is?
Person who takes in a lot of like media and things like that. What's one thing you wish Hollywood would leave in 2022?
Oh, good question.
Or leave in past or
maybe
some of your games or something.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna be that guy. I'm trying to capture as many fields as I can. So I'm going to start this section off because I realize I haven't done it yet with Mike's check, which is basically where we say an interesting fact or figure or personal experience. And I guess sort of linking to that, which one should I start off first? Film. Let's go film. I think film, the thing that film needs to leave in 2022, I think is everyone trying to do like their own version of the MCU. Because I guess starting with the mic check is obviously like the MCU has like so many films, so many phases, like all of this stuff. And I think kind of like people said, it worked for Marvel, but I feel like it worked to a degree because for me, I love all things comic book. So having like a shared universe was nice because it was like, oh, okay, you know, I watched the films and then some of the stuff in the TV shows would link with the films. But I feel like, I don't know, even like with Marvel to date, like I've said now it sort of feels like there's so much, like I'm far behind on stuff. Stuff's been spoiled for me from Marvel stuff. And I'm just like, it is what it is, but there's just so much. And it's just like, you're expected to watch. I mean, I've also said that I feel like, I don't know if Marvel would agree, but like, I feel like Marvel's doing it on the premise of dip your toe in when you want. Because I was just like, oh, you know, so like She-Hulk. Some people hated She-Hulk. I haven't watched it. Yeah, I like the clips I saw. I was like, it's pretty good. It's pretty funny. But yeah, some people hated it, but then some people, so like me and my brother, we loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Some people hated it.
Yeah, my friend hated it,
and I was just like, I feel like it's like that's what they're doing now. They're just like, okay, we're gonna have like a shared universe, but it's gonna be like a dip your toe in when you want. So like, if you like Hawkeye, there's a show for you. If you want like a legal comedy drama, She-Hulk's for you. But I feel like it works for Marvel, but then you see like all these other like franchises and films trying to do the same thing. And it's just like, please, no. Because like, I feel like if it's like, if there's only like one thing, so like Game of Thrones doing House of the Dragon, perfect. Because it's like one TV show that links a show that's already existed, but there's like nothing else to watch with that. But like, you've got what did they call it? There was like the monster, like, okay, one, for example, all the like Godzilla, King Kong films. Like, I haven't watched them, but like they apparently have like a connected, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm just like, and I know a lot of people in Hollywood have said like, when are the times when you had like a good film and you're just like, that was a great film. Cool day. Don't need a sequel, don't need a prequel, don't need to do like a spin-off.
Do you know what it is? Especially if it's really bad.
Oh my gosh!
We could have left it.
We could have left it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think. Do you know what it is? I think it all goes down to money.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, if the numbers work for the first one, they're like, do you know what? We can do the second one. And sometimes the time that was spent in the first one isn't the time they spent in the second one. So then you see like a disparity in like the quality. I guess. So it's it's a shame. But I know some films I'm like, do you know what? If that's all they give me, I can die.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And you're just like, this is good. Yeah. But yeah, for some films, I'm just like, and I feel like, and especially like with certain comedies, because I feel like sometimes there's actually, you know, this links to my second one. It's both for films, but it works for TV shows as well.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much video games, but the idea, because me and my brother literally were talking about it, and music, so it works in all three. We were talking about it on the way here, because we were listening to, oh gosh, we would like came in an Uber and they were playing, I've forgotten the song, but they were playing this song that was just like the Jack Harlow song, which I really it's a remix, yeah. And I was just like, and like me and my brother like we're talking about it, and we were just like, all these songs nowadays, and it seems like it's not even just for songs, it's like across every medium, is like now is the time for nostalgia. So it's like So like Marvel having like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire come back as Spider-Man. Like people, like.
I will not hear a bad word.
No. Like I love the film. I thought it was really good, and I said like even them. No. I said them coming back was like really good. Like I think I liked it because it wasn't that they were there from the start and they took away from the story. Because I think what someone said, which was really good, is they were saying on like Instagram that people said like, oh, the film was only good because Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were in it, and if they weren't there, people would have hated it. And then this person put like, no, actually, remove like them coming in to help him. If it was literally only like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange in that end fight, that he never got advice from the other Spider-Man, and it was literally just his friends consoling him instead, and they helped him figure out all the stuff. They were just like, film would have still been great. And I was like, I like that. It's like other stuff where it's like, I don't know, like for example, I haven't watched it. There was the National Treasure Disney Plus TV show that sort of that's like a spin-off remake. I don't know. But it's just like, okay, National Treasure, the first two, really, I liked them. They were good films. But then I'm just like, you're bringing it back. And I'm just like, I don't really know if I like it. Now, for some things, I agree that it works really well. So I will sing from the rooftops. Alex Rider is one of my favorite books to read. Anthony Horowitz is an amazing writer. If you're looking for someone for Alex Rider TV show, please let me know. I will do any background guy. I can pass as a exactly. Put like school uniform, I could pass as someone in his school. I'll even go for teacher, teacher assistant. But like that, I told my brother I really loved the sort of, it's not really a remake, but when they tried it again, because I said compared to like the film they did in the early 2000s, this was like fitted for the time. Like it was more realistic. Yes, it's a bit different from the book because like even them, they're just like, even in the second season, in the book, they always force them to go on missions because they're just like, if you don't do it, we're going to deport your nanny that looks after you. Yeah, Steve. Exactly. They're just like, no, we'll get her deported. And they show that in the show in the first season. But in the second season, like he's suffering from PTSD from everything that happened in the first season. And it made sense because it's literally just like, his school is like, Alex, what do you want to do with your life? And he's like, he doesn't know. And then he's like, he sees some stuff happens. And then he's literally going to the people that hired him to work for like MI6. And he's just like, oh, like, let me work with you. We can work together. We can stop this guy. And they're like, you're a teenager. Go to school. And I'm like, that's realistic. Like,
I think I definitely agree. I think if you're gonna do a remake, if you're gonna do one of these new versions of something, versions. You've got to justify why you're doing it again, or why. What are you bringing that's going to be new, different? Because you're going to have people who've seen it before, fans, and then you're going to have new audience members. So it's trying to figure out why are we now doing a new version, the justification for it. And I think if that's not there, then you get a movie.
No, it's true.
TV show.
No, it's true. And like even like when you're mentioning like gaming, like I said it depends because for some games I get it. It's like so like again, horror games are not my thing, but for anyone watching, you might know about the Resident Evil games. And they like the second game got remade, the third game got remade, the fourth game's coming out this year, it's being remade. And like people said that they like it because some of the story elements were changed, sort of like make sense with stuff that happened later on in the series. But it was also like a graphical rechange, like some of the content was actually like new content was added. And I was like, that makes sense. But also, when you bear in mind that some of these games like came out over like 10 years ago, you're like, the justification for a remake makes sense. I know The Last of Us, there was like a big argument because the first game came out on the PS3 in 2013. Then when the PS4 came out, I think in 2014, they did a remake for the PS4. Yeah. Then when the PS5 came out, I think in 2020, and they did a remake for the PS5, and people were just like, why? Like, yeah, the graphics have changed.
Whoa.
But like 3 remakes is like,
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
In a short amount of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the worst, like, I mean, again, like, I don't need people coming for me in the comments, but like, I think the worst that people agree is like GTA 5 came out, I think in 2013. Literally, it's come up to 10 years since it's been out. The game has basically been remade for like every new console that's been developed. So like so it came out on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Then they remade it, and not like a cheaper version, or like you said, oh, you could transfer your. No, they sold the same game again, and they were just, oh, if you've got a PS4 or PS or Xbox One, you can buy it. Then when the new Xbox came out, the Xbox Series X and S, and the PS5 came out, they were just like, oh yeah, if you want to buy it again, you can, and we're gonna add like new graphics, and it's just like, yeah, it's cool to see like water look more realistic. But it's also like, am I paying £70 just for a few more ripples?
It comes back to money.
Exactly. No, that's the thing.
It's arcades, and you play the old school games. You're like, oh, take me back.
Exactly.
2-bit, whatever.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I think that's true. And then yeah, I guess to go to the gaming industry. Because I've hit Hollywood more, but I think I'll go to the gaming industry. I think one thing that should be left behind, which has started to, is two things. So one, I think a lot of people hated like monetization. So like in games, having it that you have to like pay to, like, there's a paywall. So you either like grind hard and like you're doing like you're just like, yeah, honestly, like it's hours in, and you're just like, oh yeah, if you want to get this like cool weapon, then you can like, because that's how some games do it, especially like so like Fortnite. I said I like the concept. It's cool that it does stuff, but I'll never pay for Fortnite, because I'm just like, call me cheap, but I'm just like, I will like, it just doesn't make sense to me, because I was just like, there's no point in a game where there's no story. You're literally just competing against people, and I'm like, why am I going to pay real money for like, oh yeah, great, I've got.
You just need to make it Monopoly money.
Yeah, like if it was real money, I'd be chucking it. Like, but it's just like, it just didn't make any sense. Yeah. And I feel like for me, what really is annoying is it's just like, okay, so that's not what I like about gaming. Like I've said it on here. I've said it to people. Like Fortnite will go down as like the best. One of the someone said it, and I totally agree. Like I think it came out in 2017. They were just like, Fortnite will go down as like, in recent years, one of the best like gaming ideas that came, because they've worked with like DC. They've worked with Marvel.
I've seen loads of adverts of
exactly, and I'm just
play games. That's big.
Exactly.
I feel like if your advertising is always good when you can reach people who would never like, play it or whatever.
Exactly. No, it's true. And like they've had like DC comics, they've had Marvel comics linked with Fortnite. They've had all this stuff, and I was just like, yeah, it's great. It's cool that you guys are working with them, but I was just like, I just don't get why I need to pay for stuff. And I was just like, and I know for other games, like they've said, oh, and I think it's also like the payment itself. So for me, I'm happy to pay like £20 if, you get a new area of a game, you get new storylines, you maybe get a new ending. But for me, I'm like, I will never pay like any amount. Like maybe if it's like £5 max, but I'm like, why am I going to pay £10 for like a new gun? Or like a new, you can now customize your character. He's wearing a suit instead. And it's just like, okay.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. And I think the second thing is also like an online element to being added to like every game. Now, hopefully when this episode's come out, I talked about that. One of the games I really liked was Titanfall 2, which was this really cool, like, it's sort of like Call of Duty, but with like mechs, and it's think more like Call of Duty mixed a bit with Pacific Rim. So yeah, it's not that big, but it's still pretty cool. But I think the thing that I liked was that the story, like the single player and the multiplayer, weren't like there was no difference. Like the single player was a really good storyline, and the multiplayer was really good. Me, when it comes to COD, I never play COD online. Partly because I feel like sometimes it's a hot mess. Sometimes I feel like people take it way too seriously.
It looks brutal.
Yeah, sometimes people are like crazy good at it.
You idiot, how could you miss that?
And I'm just like, geez,
what I've seen.
No, that's true. But I'm just like, we've spoken about it before about like esports, and I've said I agree. Esports is interesting, and I feel like if you're in an esport environment, you can kind of get why like things might be a bit tense. Or like it could get heated. Like I'm not saying you should be like rude or racist or sexist or whatever, but like I can get why you might be like, oh my gosh, like how did you miss this? But it's like, if I'm just playing online, like I'm at home, I'm just like, I want to play like a match of Call of Duty. I'm like, why are you getting angry? Like, there's no money on this. It's not real.
You're in the comfort of your own home.
Exactly.
You want to be safe.
Exactly. And it's just like, some people take it so seriously. And like, for me, I've said that I don't like, if I play an online version of a game, I don't use microphone. I don't use headphones.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to hear anyone.
You're in the zone.
I'm in the zone. And I'm just like, I don't want, like, if I'm with friends, cool. We can mic up, we can make jokes, we can talk. But I'm like, I will, like, for me, if I'm joining up with random people, I never speak to them. I do my own thing. Like, if I join in Fortnite, I'm going to my own side of the map. If I'm doing like a 5v5 team, I ain't coming up with no strategy. I'm going after my own targets.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it doesn't need to be that competitive. And like it takes, the competitiveness can take away, I think competitiveness in a social setting takes away the fun of gaming. Like if you're an esports person and you're doing it as a competition, you know, you're going for a title, that's cool. You know, even if you're training, arguably, I get it. But it's like, for the average person, they're probably not. They're just either live streaming it to like people or playing it in the comfort of their home. And it's just like, it generally doesn't need to get that serious.
I think it sounds like you want to be given the option rather than have it almost feel like it's shoved down your throat.
Exactly, yeah.
And be able to choose whether you want to have that element or not.
Exactly, no, it's true. And I just feel like, and I think it's another thing where it started to be like more people are seeing like you can have a single player game with no like microtransactions, with like not telling people you need to pay money to get really good stuff, and people will enjoy it. And even if you do then chuck on like, I don't know, like I said, like you get £15 and then there's like new stuff added, like people are more likely to do it because they're just like, you know what, the game was really good. Like I know this thing is like super small, it does it only does a small thing, but like it was really good. One other thing, and then I promise this will be the last thing, is because I literally heard it on a gaming podcast I listened to called Watch Culture Gaming, so I definitely would recommend.
They better be paying you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the amount of product placement we do, we'll soon be breaking in the money. But they were saying, I sort of agree. Games, like if you buy a game on the day, like you pre-order a game, or you even buy it on the day it comes out, you should expect it to be a working product when it comes out. Now, is that always the case? No. Is it?
Naughty.
Yeah. And the thing is, like before, I mean, I'm not saying like paying £50 for a game is like is okay for that to happen, but now it's like games, especially if you have like a newer console, the game is going to be around like 60 to 70 if you've got like a deluxe edition, maybe just a bit above 50 if you just got the game itself. And it's just like, why should I buy a game? Like, yeah, one, it takes forever to install, but then once it's installed, like you have to then wait for a patch to be done to fix the game before you've even played it. Then like in the first couple of like day or two of playing it, you've then got other issues, so you have to then wait. Because I know like there are people who they like, whether it's their job or like their passion, they'll play video games. They'll be like, yeah, I literally couldn't play the video game like for the first 3 days, or because like there were so many patches, or like my game was so buggy that it couldn't work and I had to wait for it to fix. And I was just like, I get that, because if you're paying like £70 for a product, you want it to be good.
£70 worth of game.
Exactly. To game. And it's just like, and like that's what one of the people on that podcast was saying, that they prefer to actually just not go into the like the big studios, but like I guess sort of it works with film as well, like going into small like indie ones. So he was saying like he looks for indie games to play, because he was saying with indie games, like there's not that, like you're more lenient because you're just like, oh yeah, you're a small company. Like some of these games, like especially that are sometimes get like sold, they're made by like one person. And they might be like, the music might be done by them, they might make the game, and then it's like promoted by like, I don't know, someone like Xbox or PlayStation. But they were just like, oh yeah, if it's one person, like, yeah, it's annoying that certain things aren't good, or like certain things are repeated, but they're just like, it's one person, like,
it's justified.
Exactly, it's justified. But when it's like, I don't know, like a big company, like whether it's Ubisoft or CD Projekt, like I love Cyberpunk, but I agree they had issues. What other games?
All them.
But like whatever company it is, you're just like, why would, like, you're a big company. And exactly. And I think as fans, like I at least would say that I prefer to wait. Like, I don't know, let's say Call of Duty came out last year. If the next Call of Duty, like the Modern Warfare one, doesn't come out for another, like until next November, or even if it comes out in 3 years, I'm good to wait as long as it's like, it's quality. And I feel like that's what fans want. They want, like, fans are prepared to wait if the product you're waiting for is like the best ever. Because even if you like, I don't know, like this year you announce, oh yeah, this big game's coming out, you're going to be able to do so many things, and it's like, cool, but like, don't announce it this year. And then like, you're just like, oh yeah, we've been working on it for ages. And I get that, like, especially with COVID, they were doing stuff online. So there was a lot of like lenience, like people understood the situation. But I think people are saying like now, like games that are getting developed post-COVID or even pre-COVID, it was an issue. Yeah, they're like, no, come on, like, especially if it's a game that, you've had time to work on it. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
See it until it's 100%.
Exactly. And it's just like, why would you then, like, the amount, like, we could do a whole podcast on it.
I was going to say, you can even apply it to, like, TV, and stuff like that, where it's like, the new season's coming out, like, next year, whatever. I'm like, if it takes 2 damn years, I will wait.
Exactly.
2 damn years. I don't want...
Exactly.
Don't bring out the season.
So true.
You know what I mean?
No.
So I thought it complied like in loads of different places. Yeah.
No, true. And like, it's just like, you're just like, let the, like, whether it's the siege, like Game of Thrones, people have said, like, even if House of the Dragon, takes like, doesn't come out.
Oh, wait.
Like, you don't want like, especially like with shows where like CGI is like prevalent, like whether it's Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, like whatever, like those ones are ones where like the CGI makes or breaks it, because especially if it's Lord of the Rings, yes, but a lot of it I know is like makeup and stuff. But like House of the Dragon, you got dragons on screen, and these dragons aren't even like, they're not like before in Game of Thrones. It's just like, oh, it's a small mini dragon.
Yeah, exactly. And there's more dragons.
Exactly. And like, you're just like, okay, I get it. Like, I'm prepared to wait 2 years for like, even if all the all the acting, like, what's it called, Avatar, that didn't come out for like ages,
bro. That was a lot. That was 10 years. No, it's about 2019, the first one.
Yeah, it was only 10 years.
Sorry, I was just I was like, and that was a long ass time, but it was
worth it.
I watched it, really good.
Exactly. And it's fine. And like the fact that like even now, so they were saying like, oh, they've recorded Avatar 3 and 4 because they were just like, okay, based on like however successful 2 was, we will now at least have some stuff ready for it. And it's just like, yeah, that's good. Like, does it suck that we're basically waiting another year for Avatar? Sure, but it's like, I can deal with it. If it's good CGI, if we're going to get something for the wait, then it's worth it. But yeah, I think those are my like things that I would say, like Hollywood, gaming industry, just leave it in 2022. Let this be a new year.
You really got something off your chest there.
Yeah, man, I feel good.
Like a changed man.
I feel like a changed man.
Yeah. You're floating.
Yeah, honestly, man, I'm on cloud 9. I'm enjoying life. Exactly. But yeah, we're gonna go on to MC of the Month, where we're gonna talk about our MC of the Month, which is Whack Arts. Now, Whack Arts do a lot of amazing stuff for young people. They do a lot of acting stuff as well. They do a lot of workshops. They do a lot of like music production and stuff. They do a lot of things regarding like masterclasses where you can like learn how to like do accents, or learn how to like hone your craft when it comes to being an actor, how to, if you're a music person, how to like play instruments. They do ballet, they do all of these things. Interesting enough, they're going to start doing podcasting too. So you could learn to do podcasting and how to host podcasts and things like that. But they do really good work for the community, and I'm pretty sure all of it is free for young people. The reason why we also recommend them is because they also allow essentially, like, I think it's like 16 to 30 is their target. 16 to 30 or 16 to 25 is like their target group. But they said like if they have a class for, let's say, ballet, and I don't know, like they've got not a lot of people wanted to do it that year or that term, they will let adults go on there because it's just like, they've paid for the instructor to teach for the time. So yeah, so even if you're like, you don't fit in the age range that's on their website, like do get in touch, because they have said like if there's space, then they can accommodate you. But I guess one, I mean, like there's another one, maybe not an MC per se. The MC of the month can be Whack, but I guess a shout out would be Roundhouse as well. I know Roundhouse have a creative studio for 16 to 24-year-olds where they do like music production, podcasting, acting. Like they literally have like if I can get a picture of it, they literally got like a whole list of stuff that they do. I think it's like £20 a year, but you get access to like all these spaces. You can use it within like you can book it. You don't have to pay for your booking, which is really good. But yeah, it's like a really good thing for young people, and it is something you can use, like I said, to hone your craft, sort of like learn more about yourself and to try new things. So yeah, I say the main one is Whack, because I know for definite I'm very sure their stuff is free. But yeah, Roundhouse, there we go. They're also one that you could check out as well because they do a lot of really good work. But yeah, that's it. Before we end the episode, we're going to go to our takeaway, which is our new segment where we talk about, the one key message to take away with. We're not delivering food to your house, so unfortunately, my apologies. But yeah,
that was shoddy.
I think it was just the right amount of cheesiness that it could pass.
I hate cheese.
But Amanda, what would you say is like your one takeaway message that people watching or listening, they should go home with today?
Is to this is why I'm so sorry. Do it.
Okay.
Like just have that like don't give a shit attitude and just go for it.
Okay.
All guns blazing.
Okay. Perfect. I really like that. And I think kind of like we've spoken throughout the whole thing, it's about getting out there, getting your name heard, people knowing that you're doing things, and just like not putting the pressure on yourself to think you have to be an expert, you have to be amazing. We mentioned exactly time. Take your time. We mentioned it on the podcast, like when we started, we as a team hated. We look back on our first episode and we were just like, gosh, it was so awkward. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. We're all in our own homes. Like,
rushed has been shite.
Honestly. But it's one of those things where, we developed a schedule, we figured out, how we can record episodes. And it's one of those things where things will go wrong. Like, people can tell you, if you want to be successful in your career, you just have to, like, nothing will go wrong. You can just like do whatever you want. But it's like, no, things will definitely go wrong. But I was at a networking event and they mentioned the quote, and it's a Nelson Mandela quote, but I'm not sure if I'm saying it word for word, but essentially it was like, Nelson Mandela was like, I never fail. I either win or I learn. And I feel like that is something, we're in January, so I'm going to say it's like the mantra for like 2023. It's like, you either win or you learn. There's never like a failure. And I think one other thing to add to it is there's this like Christian pastor, there's a Christian person who just like pastors, he does a lot of other stuff as well, called Ryan Leake. And he said this really interesting thing of like, failure is part of finding out what you are called to do and what you're supposed to be doing. And he has this, I don't know if it's a book, but if it is, like, I'll pop up with it or like include a link. But he has this really cool thing on, like, he was saying how to succeed at failure. And I was like, that's a really interesting thing. But he was saying it's all about like, he was like, no, you are not successful because you're just like really good at stuff. He said you're successful because when you fail, you're not failing. You're sort of like trying something, it doesn't work out, but you've learned something from it. So he was saying that people need to stop thinking that I need to learn like, how to make money quick. And it's just like, no, learn how to like budget better because that you're failing at budgeting. Or he was saying like, I've been really trying to write a song or like make a beat or do poetry or do a podcast, and it's just not been working. He was like, no, it's not that you need to learn like what are the skills to do it. You need to figure out what are you failing at and succeed at it. Because when you succeed in failure, that then means that you'll be more confident to try and do these new things. And then you'll hone your craft, you'll learn new things. Those will fail too, but you'll sort of develop as you go along. So that's the takeaway message, man. Just get out there and do it. Just get out there and do it. But yeah, we now come to the end of the episode. I want to say a huge thank you to Amanda for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. It's been very fun. I think I would have probably lost a lot of weight from all the laughter that I've had to do.
Oh my days.
But our audience might be thinking, I really want to get in contact with Amanda. They might go.
How long have we got? Sorry, go on.
They might be thinking.
And stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we can work around it. But They might be thinking they want to get in contact with you because they want to know more about acting, or they want to ask some personal questions about their own story. What's the best way for them to do that?
You can hit me on my Instagram, which is at Amanda Shodeko. You can.
I can't.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. It's loud.
Yeah, probably there is probably best. Send me like a message, appropriate one. No, I'm joking. Yeah, sure. Yeah, at Amanda Shodeko. Bish bash bosh.
Bish bash bosh. But yeah, thank you to you of our wonderful audience for coming for another episode of The Student Guide. If you like this episode, if you like, I genuinely thought I messed it up there, but no, if you like this episode, a like, comment, subscribe is always appreciated. If you want to click the notification bell, you will not miss the next episode because you'll get notified about it. So please make sure that you click it. It's at the bottom of the video. And then finally, if you want to support the podcast, because we can't do this without your support, but also additionally, if you're looking to get some perks, please do check out our Patreon page. And check it out. And finally, I know we've been like promising that we're going to be doing some events, whether it's because of stuff and life, we've had to sort of postpone it and move it, but yeah, I promise this year we're going to be doing more in-person events, maybe some more in-person recordings. We are also working towards doing a live recording, and we will be letting you, our wonderful audience, know when that happens, because it'll be live, we'll have an audio, like it'll be like a,
it's much more fun when it's live and shit can go wrong.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I think it all goes amazingly right, but no, I know 100%. I've done live stuff before, and like when I tell you like the amount, yeah. So yeah. Anyways, thank you so much to your wonderful audience, and yeah, we'll see you next time when we open the guide of the student guide. See what I did there? And then we'll be picking up the mic too. So yeah, we'll see you all later. Have a wonderful day, and speak soon.